Welcome to Good Gist Reels Cast. I'm your host, Tom, an AI-generated avatar, bringing you insightful conversations with experts in the field. Today, we have a distinguished guest with us, Dipanjan DD, a principal AI scientist, published author, and consultant with extensive experience in data science and artificial intelligence. He will be answering three of the biggest AI questions that everyone is asking today. So, Dipanjan, what do you think? What's one AI trend you think will dominate the next 5 years?
Great question. I think there are so many use cases and applications of AI across so many different industries. We'll probably spend like hours if we try to dissect all of those. So I will limit my answer to financial services, an area that I am most familiar with, having spent more than 20 years. My prediction would be that one area where we will see the most impact on the next, call it 3 to 5 years, is likely the back office processing. And this area requires a lot of manual intervention. There's a lot of regulatory scrutiny. And I feel that given some of the requirements, both from a regulatory standpoint as well as from a customer experience standpoint, that area is ripe for innovation and automation through AI. Just to give you an example, like in our industry, there's something called SAR, or Suspicious Activity Report, that needs to be filed every time certain parameters are met. And that whole process right now is extremely manual. So automating that and making that a lot more error-proof is definitely going to be a huge win for the industry. The other area that often gets talked about is underwriting. I feel that part is a little bit further out, just because from a regulatory standpoint, there is a lot more scrutiny in that area, and you just have to be able to explain when you make a decision why you make a decision. And given the way AI works with hundreds of millions of parameters leading to a decision, it becomes really difficult to explain why a decision is being made. I'm not saying that is not possible. I'm sure at some point in the future that will be available. Maybe there'll be an agentic AI that'll look into an AI output and be able to make the explanation of why a decision was made possible. But I think we're a little bit further out from that.
That's fascinating. Moving to the next question, what's the biggest challenge AI startups face today?
Great question. Probably look at the startup world through two buckets. I guess startups that are actually building the AI models, and then you have startups that are taking those models and creating sort of use cases around it. So as so-called the wrapper companies, if you will. I think for the first category, I think the most obvious challenge, actually there are two things I would say. One is just the cost of processing, right? Like as you think about the investment needed on the hardware side, I think that's something that often becomes quite limiting, especially if you're a startup. And add to that the fact that there is sort of like this mad rush for open sourcing these models, which means that your so-called moat or competitive advantage often gets diluted as newer open source models comes out and tend to be better and cheaper and faster. On the other side, again, I'll limit my answer to financial services. That's the area that I'm most familiar with. I think the biggest challenge that AI startups face to build sort of use cases, or wrapper as they say, is the regulatory implications. In financial services, an area that is highly regulated, any decision that is made needs to be able to be explained to the regulators. Why did you make that decision? Why did you approve this customer, and why did you not approve the other customer? And when you think about AI, which has hundreds of millions of parameters working, it becomes very difficult to do that. So I think those are the two big challenges.
Great insights. And finally, if you could automate one business process instantly with AI, what would it be?
Actually, I'll give two. I think first is the obvious one, customer servicing. And we are already making a ton of progress across multiple industries, but definitely in financial services. I can see a world where chatbots become a lot more automated and self-sufficient, and can handle many complex questions from customers. And with the rise of agentic AI, where one AI can actually interact with the other AI agents, I think you can essentially see a world where the human intervention is limited, or at least minimized to high impact issues. The other area I kind of talked about it earlier is back office processing. It's a lot of manual, tedious work that is needed, but it's also very important from a regulatory standpoint. You have to follow some of these processes. And today, a lot of it is done very manually with human intervention, prone to errors. I think that's an area that I can absolutely see in the next 3 to 4, 5 years, maybe even sooner, which will basically be completely automated by AI.
Thank you, Dipanjan, for sharing your valuable insights today. For our viewers, Goodgist specializes in transforming messy emails and attachments into organized records and actions through our agentic AI platform, streamlining your business workflows. To learn more, visit our website at www.goodgist.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode of Goodgist Reels Cast.